On March 10, 2026, Chuck Norris posted a video from Hawaii. At 86, sparring with someone half his age, he grinned at the camera. "I don't age. I level up." 9 days later, the world learned he had passed. No warning, no farewell. The man the internet had joked was immortal was gone. And yet, beneath every meme and joke, people had believed in him. Not literally, but as someone who never gave up. Chuck's story began far from the spotlight, in Ryan, Oklahoma. Born March 10, 1940, Carlos Ray Norris grew up in a fractured family, shy, stuttering, and invisible. His father was absent, his mother a pillar of resilience. Moves to Kansas and California only reminded him that roots were a luxury he didn't have. At 18, he enlisted in the Air Force, escaping poverty and fear. Stationed in South Korea, he discovered martial arts. Tang Soo Do became his language of strength, discipline, and self-worth. By 1962, he returned to the U.S. a black belt, opening a small studio and beginning a journey that would turn him into a champion. He lost early tournaments but refused to quit. By 1967, he claimed the karate title that once seemed impossible. Hollywood wasn't waiting for him, but through his studio, he met Bruce Lee. Their friendship, built on mutual respect and relentless discipline, would open the door to the world stage. In 1972, Bruce Lee offered Chuck a role that would make him known to millions. From a shy, invisible boy to a global icon, Chuck Norris's life was proof that grit, discipline, and refusal to quit could turn legend into reality. In The Way of the Dragon, Chuck Norris played Colt, Bruce Lee's fiercest opponent, facing him in one of cinema's most iconic fights, the Coliseum scene. Though not yet a star, his presence was unforgettable. Their friendship, however, was cut short. In 1973, Bruce Lee died at 32. Chuck carried that loss quietly, later calling Lee one of the most remarkable people he had ever known. Grief didn't stop him, it pushed him forward. Encouraged by Steve McQueen, Chuck pursued acting seriously. Early roles were rough, low budgets, sparse dialogue, critics dismissive, but audiences responded. Breaker, 1977, Good Guys Wear Black, 1978, The Octagon, 1980, film by film, he built a loyal following. A man who looked and moved like someone who had truly been tested. By the mid-1980s, Chuck Norris was one of Hollywood's top action stars. Missing in Action, Code of Silence, Delta Force, unapologetically American, unapologetically real. Yet it was television that cemented his cultural status. Walker, Texas Ranger, 1993-2001, introduced millions to Cordell Walker, a man of fists, faith, and unshakable moral code. So beloved, Chuck was later sworn in as an actual Texas Ranger, a symbolic circle from dusty Oklahoma childhood to real-life justice. Then, the internet discovered him. A mythology was born. Chuck Norris doesn't do push-ups. He pushes the earth down. Absurd facts, endless jokes, but Chuck laughed, embraced them, revealing warmth beneath the tough guy image. Behind the legend, life had been quietly heavy. Losses, grief, and decades of private pain layered beneath the stoic gaze and roundhouse kicks. Chuck loved Diane K. Holchek from the age of 16. They married in 1958 and shared 30 years, facing poverty, martial arts, and Hollywood's slow climb. Infidelity and a secret daughter, Dinah, strained their marriage, ending in divorce in 1989. But Chuck kept a deep friendship with Diane. In December 2025, Diane passed at 84 after battling dementia. Chuck shared a quiet tribute, a black and white photo from 1975 of their family. Less than a year earlier, his mother Wilma, the iron-willed woman who had raised him and his brothers, died at 103. He honored her as a beacon of love and faith. Years before, Chuck had faced another battle no film could show. In 2012, his second wife, Gina, fell gravely ill after MRI scans, suffering organ damage and severe symptoms. Chuck fought relentlessly, seeking treatments across the US and China, spending nearly $2 million, and filing a lawsuit to hold the manufacturers accountable. Gina survived, but the ordeal left its mark on Chuck. Humility, tenderness, and a keen awareness of how fragile life can be. By 2026, he had carried more grief than most men face in a lifetime. His mother was gone, His first wife was gone, and the years of fighting alongside Gina had quietly aged him, shaping his measured movements and calm presence. At 85, after Diane's death in December 2025, he honored her with a photograph and tribute, and then did what he had always done when the world hit hardest. He kept going. Hawaii, Kauai, had become his sanctuary. The Pacific light, the pace of life, the early morning training on the beach, discipline of the body was his prayer. Movement was devotion. As long as he could train, a core part of who he was remained intact. On March 10, 2026, Chuck Norris turned 86. He marked the day the only way he knew how. A video from Hawaii, sun behind him, training mat beneath him, sparring with someone half his age. At the end, he looked into the camera, steady, alive, and with a grin that carried the weight of every loss and fight he had survived, he said, "I don't age." On March 10, 2026, Chuck Norris turned 86. He posted a video from Hawaii, sparring on a training mat, sun behind him, a grin on his face, and said, "I level up." The internet exploded. For a brief, luminous moment, it felt like the real Chuck Norris, not the meme, was genuinely invincible. 9 days later, the unthinkable happened. In the early hours of March 19th, a sudden medical emergency on Kauai brought him to a hospital. Friends reported that just the day before, he had been joking, training, fully present. There were no signs. On March 20th, the Norris family announced, "It is with heavy hearts that our family shares the sudden passing of our beloved Chuck Norris yesterday morning. He was surrounded by family and at peace. He was 86 years old. Faith, purpose, commitment. 3 words that defined a life built not in boardrooms or on red carpets, but in the small, hard-won moments. On military bases in Korea, in dojos that smelled of sweat and ambition, in hospital rooms holding a wife's hand, on quiet Hawaiian mornings throwing punches at the sky. The world paused. 2 decades of memes and jokes gave way to genuine grief. Presidents, soldiers, martial artists, veterans, and children, all who had looked up to him, shared a rare, unguarded mourning. The internet recognized that the myth had always been grounded in the man behind it, a shy boy from Ryan, Oklahoma, who stuttered, survived grief, trained relentlessly, and never gave up. Chuck's life carried scars he never hid: poverty, rejection, the loss of loved ones, decades of private battles. He faced them all. From the dust of Oklahoma to the dojos of Korea, from Bruce Lee's friendship to long vigils beside his wife Gina's hospital bed, from the television screens of Walker, Texas Ranger to that final Hawaiian sunrise, he demonstrated one constant truth. The measure of a man is not whether he falls, it's what he does after. He survived life's worst, and in the end, he died surrounded by family, at peace, still fully alive 10 days after his birthday. Carlos Ray Norris, born March 10, 1940, in Ryan, Oklahoma, died March 19, 2026, in Kauai, Hawaii, aged 86, martial artist, actor, veteran, husband, father, grandfather, believer. The legend was never the roundhouse kick. The legend was the boy who had every reason to give up and simply never did.